Okay, mimfamang hanifen tuaja, am giri roli sol man muka hanifen tualeja, albeni lab ya dualeja se jaburjam, ndul kabi freedom of space te bualeja, dual bela dua du bual be bua alla bolan esti Gambian dream brikama boyu ndul kanna kuole ke is all about Gambian talent TV. Tune in direct, ala jibe, stay tuned, mimbe kering Gambia bantala, Gambia. Luo! Okay, mimfamang hanifen tuaja, am giri roli sol man muka hanifen tualeja, albeni lab ya dualeja se jaburjam, ndul kabi freedom of space te bualeja, dual bela dua du bual be bua alla bolan esti Gambian dream brikama boyu ndul kanna kuole ke is all about Gambian talent TV. Tune in direct, ala jibe, stay tuned, mimbe kering Gambia bantala, Gambia. Luo!
And women of the press, welcome to the press conference convened by Consumer Protection Consortium and its allies or affiliates, which consist of a group of concerned consumers and individuals of Africell. To this press conference here in YMCA Boardroom. First, we will quickly introduce the members of the high table, then we will tell you a little bit about why this press conference today. First, we would want to introduce the president of Consumer Protection Consortium, which is Alpha Jallo. He's right here, and then he will make a statement. Then after that, we will take questions from the media to explain the stand that Consumer Protection Consortium, which is CPC, this is an advocacy group that is or a watchdog that tries to make sure consumers are protected and their rights preserved. So, like I said, quickly, this is Mr. Alpha Jallo. He's the president of CPC Gambia. And myself, my name is Momodou Lamin Jaite. I'm the Secretary General of CPC. The purpose of this press conference is to inform the public. Of late, I think these past few days, you've all heard about how Africell has been treating its customers, and this has come to the light. And we've also learned about the press release issued by PURA. PURA is the Public Regulatory Authority, which tries to make sure that these GSM companies and other players in the market are regulated. So CPC, like I said, has been in the forefront for a long time now to ensure that consumers, which consists of everyone, we are all consumers in one way or the other, whether we consume goods or services. As long as we are human beings, we are here, we have needs, and these needs revolves around certain services and commodities. So as a result, we are all consumers. So like I said, last week, things came to fore when we discovered that Africell has been engaged on what is now seen as cheating. Africell has been cheating its customers. And over the years, CPC has been consistently condemning Africell and other companies that have been cheating on their customers. But it has now come to the point that even individual consumers have raised concern. And now we feel that it's getting too much, and we need to communicate to the public to inform. Of course, people know, the general public know what is going on. Many people have been complaining that one way or the other, they have been cheated, either by way of, you talk to anyone who has Africell line or so, many of them will tell you they're not happy the way their credits go. But the president will highlight all these things. So without much ado, I will just hand over the microphone to Mr. Alpha Jallo, who is the president of CPC, and he will tell you more about why this press conference and what the CPC has been doing, and the kind of actions that we will be doing in the coming days and weeks. So thank you so much, gentlemen of the media and the press. Welcome to this press conference. I hand over the mic to Mr. Alpha Jallo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jaite, who is the Secretary General of the Consumer Protection Consortium. As introduced, Alpha Usman Jallo, the President of the Consumer Protection Consortium. And without much ado, Mr. Jaite has already dwelt on the purpose of this press conference. And therefore, the CPC has released a press statement, and that is, by virtue of that, that is what, as the President, I would be reading out to Gambians and the general public in and outside of the Gambia. The Consumer Protection Consortium is a non-profit and voluntary civil society organization duly incorporated under the laws of the Gambia. It is a federation of consumer groups founded in 2012 to serve as an authoritative national campaigning voice for consumers in the Gambia. Its primary aim is to promote, protect, and safeguard the interests and welfare of all consumers in the Gambia. The Consumer Protection Consortium, for those who don't know, engages in social communication, advocacy, and other activities to raise awareness on consumer rights, to promote fair trade and a healthy market environment in the Gambia. Basically, this is what the Consumer Protection Consortium is all about, as an umbrella body for other consumer protection associations in the Gambia. Over the years, the CPC has been confronted with several challenges related to safeguarding the interests and welfare of consumers. Some notable ones that afflict consumers are unfair trading terms and practices adopted by some suppliers of goods and services. Secondly, the promulgation of false and misleading advertisements by some service providers. Thirdly, the concealment of relevant information regarding some goods and services. Key among that is also poor quality delivery by some of these service providers, especially telephone service providers, and inappropriate and untimely redress to consumer problems and concerns. These are very notable key challenges that consumers are facing, and these are what we found wanting when it comes to service providers. The CPC's discussion and ultimately decision to hold a press conference today is spurred by the current 4G bundle saga surrounding Africell. It is important to note that other service providers are found wanting as well. But the purpose of this press conference is to address the current 4G bundle saga surrounding Africell. The Consumer Protection Consortium is cognizant of PURA's resolve to safeguard consumer rights and welfare relating to utilities and appreciates PURA's directive for Africell to, in quote, process mandatory cash funds, that's refunds, to all subscribers that subscribe to the unlimited data package from the 1st of January 2010 up to February 11, 2020. Alternatively, affected subscribers can also opt for e-refunds. These refunds are to be done in full, unquote. This, so far, is PURA's directive that we found, in the different print media. Now, however, what is CPC's position regarding this? The CPC is concerned, first and foremost, that PURA took a unilateral decision to institute the aforementioned remedial measures without due consultation and mutual agreement with the affected parties, which or who are consumers and consumer associations. Prior to this recent Africell saga, the CPC, which is the Consumer Protection Consortium, wrote initial communiques and met with Africell management to discuss pertinent issues raised by consumers regarding Africell's placement of false and misleading advertisements using billboards, radio, television, and the print media. And Africell had claims that they have a nationwide 4G coverage, when actually that was not the case. It was further disclosed even by the former Director General of Pura, Mr. Ansumana Sane, that after investigations, quote, after investigations, Pura has discovered that there was no GSM operator with 4G network, that only 3G and 2G networks were available, saying that that is why many parts of the country find it difficult in getting a reliable network. Mr. Sane, who is the Director General of Pura, and this was in 2018, specifically mentioned Africell, adding that they had told Africell to stop all activities, suggesting that they have nationwide 4G coverage because they do not have the international 4G standard. With this regard, letters were copied to Pura for notification and to solicit their intervention in furtherance of due process, to facilitate a meeting and dialogue to amicably resolve the issues raised during the consumer parliaments that were held both in 2017 and 2018 and 2019, okay? And through the CPC, a case was filed to prosecute Africell, and this was in 2018. And recently, due to this saga, the CPC has reactivated now that case against Africell, who were found wanting, to this time round again go in and file in a case for unfair and misleading market conduct. And this case is to be filed for litigation and redress against Africell on behalf of consumers. So we will be resorting to the tribunal with the GCCPC, which is the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Consortium, or Commission, the Gambia Protection Commission, where we will be seeking litigation and redress. But this is not going to stop us from moving on if we don't find any favorable result from this to court action. So we want to pronounce that the Consumer Protection Commission is being solicited to support, since the commission is a commission of consumers for consumer protection, we are requesting that they give support to this case against Africell Company, and the Consumer Protection Consortium will be filing a case in this regard. The CPC has also identified potential areas of concern that would require the collaboration of Pura to promote consumer rights education and help remedy other unfair trade practices. In conclusion, therefore, the Consumer Protection Consortium wishes to highlight that some of these issues that we want to address surrounds, together with Pura, surrounds the sensitization of consumers on consumer rights and responsibilities, the sensitization of service providers on corporate social responsibility and advocacy for adherence to the Consumer Protection Act of 2014, the collaboration in the area of capacity building between PURA and consumer associations with regards to research, quality of service monitoring, and sharing of relevant information with consumers, service providers, and other stakeholders. The adoption and promulgation of good policies and practices in line with the provisions of the Consumer Protection Act of 2014. In conclusion, the CPC wishes to thank all present, especially the media, and calls on PURA to facilitate a consultative meeting of relevant stakeholders to address corporate thievery and explore possible areas of collaboration to help safeguard the interests and rights of consumers in the interest of public health, safety, quality, corporate ethics, and the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jallo. That was Mr. Alpha Jallo, the president of CPC. We've heard what he has said with regards to the steps that CPC, that's the Consumer Protection Consortium, is trying to take to make sure that the rights of consumers are protected, but also to engage on sensitization of people on consumer rights. So, in a nutshell, you've heard what he said. We will soon open the floor for questions from the journalists so that we clarify a few issues regarding CPC versus Africell on this matter. So thank you so much. We would want you to identify yourself and the media you represent if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Is there anyone who wants to ask a question? Okay. Okay, yeah. Identify yourself, please. Okay. Please. Can we move? Okay.
I am just going to voice
Use for job. Okay. Yeah.
My only question is, we all know what is probably that consumers are complaining of probably having uncorporate, when I say TV, from the corporate companies. I wanted to ask, is this the case that CPC has taken in order to ensure their customers, consumers of their well-being and their market protection?
Thank you, Mr. Jallo. Sir, Use for Job is directed to the president of CPC. He's asking if this will be the first case brought by CPC against some of these corporate bodies.
Yeah. This is not the first case. The CPC has been very proactive in pursuing and fighting against such malpractices, especially, with regards to these misleading and unfair trade practices that service providers provide. And this is not limited only to telephone service providers. The CPC had taken to task NAWEC about these utilities. The CPC had also even engaged, councils previously. The CPC had engaged government, even the Ministry of Trade, when it came to the bread saga, sometime last year. But when it comes to prosecution of cases, the CPC had filed cases, but because there is a process that needs to be followed when it comes to consumer redress, which would involve the regulators engaging the service providers first, dialoguing with them, then engaging the regulators, and ultimately going to the tribunal, which is hosted by the Consumer Protection Commission. Usually this is done on an alternative dispute resolution basis. and that is where we sit and dialogue, and then usually culprits are charged and they are fined, or sometimes issues are resolved and then warnings are given to those who are found wanting. So this is not the first case. We had filed in 2018, we had filed in a case against this very company, Africell, with the Consumer Protection Commission. But that case did not go ahead. That's why we said we are now reactivating this case.
Consumers Protection Consortium has the power to sue any institution to the courts, whether the trial legal or magistrates. And the second question is, what makes this case so special? Because we know that this GSM operators has been investigated, then we have not been taken to court. We will take some measures. So what makes this one so special that you are invested to the extent of taking them to court?
Right. It's whether the Consumer Protection Consortium has the mandate. Now, the Consumer Protection Consortium is a legal entity, all right? It is registered. It is a pressure group. It is a civil society organization. Just like any other civil society organizations, we legitimately represent consumers, and we have a large membership nationwide in the first place. Even individual consumers have a right to seek redress and to litigate when their rights are violated. And much more when it comes to a duly registered association, civil society association. So it is in line with our mandate, and like I said, this is not the first time that we had, sought for litigation against culprits, and that is why we are going ahead. I hope that answers your first question. The second question about why this case being special, I first and foremost said there were previous cases that were sought. This case is more special because it has received an attention. It has become, the most, the Africell saga has become household. Social media has taken it, has blown it, to great extent, so that it's not even limited to Gambia alone. And thanks to a task force and young people that we have in the social media, they had brought this to the limelight. And in fact, what makes the Consumer Protection Consortium, say this is a very opportune moment to strike now and come together, and form a collaboration with this task force and get petitioners. And remember, we have more than 750 petitioners signing in support of pushing ahead with this litigation against Africell. All right, and we said this is an opportune moment now to go ahead and push this, because PURA has acknowledged that Africell, the service provider, has violated the contract. And having violated the contract, PURA, having taken a unilateral decision to ask Africell to pay back in cash or refund, by giving back, in bundles, gave us the cause to say, where is the redress? What holds Africell to account? Just paying back to consumers and that's it? What of the violation that Africell has committed? And many consumers are culprits of not only this 4G bundle saga, but even the ringtones. Most of these ringtones as we all know, as subscribers, are imposed on consumers. And on a daily basis, Africell would benefit to the tune of close to $1 million, looking at the number of subscribers and the ringtones per day, monies that Africell collects. Is that accounted for? So all these are things that should be brought to light. So this is not only about the 4G, unlimited bundle violation, but also other malpractices and extortions that Africell has been doing. And not only Africell, mark you, but then it is the Africell saga that has come up, and we're going to sue them, take action against them, and then follow up with other service providers if they don't conform. So, and live up to their corporate social responsibility. That is a warning to other service providers, GSM companies as well.
You are here to protect, the consumer. But how hopeful are you that you'll be able to have, a breakthrough? Because even in the media, some of them are trying to distance themselves, in joining this crusade to protect the rights of consumers. Are you hopeful that you have the breakthrough?
I'm not sure whether I should not steal the show and pass this on to right. He's the Secretary General, but I can address that. Yes, as you can see, we have a fair representation of media houses here, which we very well appreciate. But some media houses are absent, and we know that there could be a conflict of interest, especially when it comes to many of the media houses that we are aware. Some of these service providers, especially Africell, do support in terms of funding and other sponsorships. So yes, it's fine, but here we are. The consortium has its affiliates, and we have representation at the market level, at the grassroots level. And also, remember, I said we had more than 750, for now, just within this short period, of petitioners who are signing in to support. And I'm telling you, we are opening this up. So there is no way going back, and this is solely going to be pushed forward, and we will get results. I want to assure you that, because the consortium is strong. The consortium has affiliate associations that are part of it, and they have representations, and we are very much recognized by both government, by PURA, by the Gambia Competitions and Consumer Protection Commission, as well as other service providers. So we strongly believe that we are going to make a mark on this.
Okay, can I just... Okay.
Please.
Okay, thank you. I would just step into buttress on what he has just said. I think it's very simple. We learned that, of course, some of the media, especially within the traditional media, some newspapers and broadcasting institutions, being intimidated by Africell. Africell is alleged to have been using their financial muscle to bully some newspapers, to say, okay, if you write against us, if you are critical against us, we will not give you adverts. We understand that, but we're happy to tell you that in this fight, we are all together. The media believes in justice. The media believe in fair play. And CPC is out for that. In our letter to you, we told you that this is a crusade to make sure that consumerism is protected, and we are all consumers. I told you, we all buy one form of goods, or we all enjoy one sort of service or the other. So whether we know or not, the media also is being affected. They're consuming things, and they know a lot of things that are happening are not right, and that there are so much injustice in the market. So CPC is just leading the fight, but everybody is in this together. Whoever believes in justice, fair play, will surely be with us. So don't mind about, we learn about that, of course, that certain, especially Africell, they use their financial muscle to intimidate But it's too much. I can tell you that with this, it cannot be business as usual, as they used to do. Thank you. Yes.
What are the steps that you guys are taking in order to control this?
Right. There is a process that needs to be followed, and this is where we said there is an arbitration framework that PURA, the regulators, know about. First and foremost, there is the need for dialogue. PURA, as the regulator, would call on stakeholders. This is what is supposed to be. And it would be open for even affected consumers and consumer associations who would represent the interests of consumers, and together with the service providers, they would sit over this and see the damage, what are the causes of the damage, the extent of the damage, how to resolve this issue so that there would be mutual agreement. Then it may not require seeking litigation against the service company. But in the event that we don't reach to any mutual agreement, then it is up to the affected individual consumers as well as the consumer associations who can represent individual consumers to file a case with the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, the GCCPC, to seek for litigation and redress. And then a tribunal, the case will be filed, and then a case would open, and there would be a tribunal against the culprit, and this time around it is Africell. And then the outcome of that case would be the end of due process, and this is what is the process. This is what the process should take. But there is also another option, which is suing Africell and, putting up a case in the law courts, which can be done. But first and foremost, the CPC intends to use, the alternative dispute resolution process first, because we strongly believe in dialogue. Let there be dialogue. Let there be fair compensation and redress, and all other issues surrounding malpractices that consumers are suffering from service providers, the imposed ringtones, the false and misleading adverts, the lack of access to relevant information, key information that consumers need to make informed choices and decisions. All these are things that needs to be addressed. And once addressed, then we will all open a new page, because we are not angry. The Consumer Protection Consortium believes in dialogue. So that is why we are calling on PURA to revisit their decision and call on all affected stakeholders, parties, to sit and take this up. This is the process, and this is the due process that should be taken.
We can wrap it up here, and to thank you for attending this press conference convened by Consumer Protection Consortium and its associates. And as we said before, CPC, which is Consumer Protection Consortium, is out to promote consumerism and fight against corporate theft and all forms of market injustice. So in a nutshell, we are trying to defend the rights of everyone, every buyer in the market, or even sometimes business people themselves, because they too consume one form of goods or services. So thank you so much for coming. And as we said before, we are all into this together. CPC is just leading the fight, but whoever cares for justice, for fair play, for protecting rights, I think this should be a business for all. It should be a business for everyone and a concern for all. Thank you so much once again. Bye-bye. I
am Bakari Yadama. I'm part of the task force that started this fight against Africell. Some people know me as Bejados. Yes.
Okay, what are the challenges are you facing when it comes to this Africell saga?
Okay, this Africell saga, I think the first thing is miscommunication and representation, because when you look at it, a lot of people still see this as a fight of few individuals, when actually everyone is affected in this case. So at the end of the day, you will see that every one of us is buying service from one service provider or the other, and in most cases it's not just one. All of us may be having 2 SIM cards or 3 SIM cards from different service providers. So that is one of the things. And also, like they highlighted during the speech, the press conference, the issue of media houses snubbing this issue like it doesn't concern them. So that is one of the other challenges that we are having. But then thankfully social media is here, and then people also took ownership of the issue to make sure that they put out their struggles out there for all to see. So yes, I think we are getting traction on that.
What are the ways that are you guys taking in order to control this case?
Okay, to control this case, first is to name and shame. That's one of the strategies that we are using. You call out the cellular provider that is doing whatever that is affecting you, and then you express what they did to you. You say out what we are not saying that you go out and put out information that is not true, but then you go ahead to say what they did to you, what is disturbing you. That is one of the things. And then the other thing is also is to press up Pura to make sure that they do the right thing. That because they are here to protect the consumers, so they have to know what the consumers are going through by us reporting the issues to them, and then also following up to make sure that they pressure the providers to make sure that they provide the fair deal for the consumers, and also engaging CPC as well as our partners in the fight.
For how long have you guys been working on this issue?
This issue basically it's been going on for 2 weeks. It's not that long, but then we are happy that within this short period of time we have really brought in results, because just the first week that we started, after like 4 days, we see that Pura actually acknowledged what was going on, and then they wrote to Africell for Africell to refund people by way of cash. But then we came to realize that Africell wasn't even negotiating whether to refund cash or credit. They were just going on to refund credit. So after that, we had to push further on Pura to notify them that Africell is only refunding credit, and they are not even negotiating refunding cash. So then Pura also had to engage Africell further, which we are still waiting for the outcome, because they send Africell a warning to make sure that whoever prefers cash, because they don't trust the cellular provider anymore, need to be given back cash, because what is the use of getting that credit back when you are not going to use it, or when you are not interested in using it. So yeah.
Do you guys have hope that Pura will work as you guys want?
Yes, we believe. We do not want to speculate that Pura will not do anything. So hence they are the people mandated to do these things. So we believe they will do what is right. Not that they have to come out and take sides, though they are here to protect consumers, but then they are also here to make sure they do what is right, what is truthful. So yes, we believe Pura will do what is right.
What advice do you have for Africell?
Okay, for Africell, this is not a fight against Africell in particular. It's a fight for justice, a fight for truth, a fight to protect consumers, to make sure that consumers get the fair deal. So the first thing I would like to tell them is that let's stop false advertisement. Whatever service you cannot offer, do not advertise it. No one is forcing you to advertise any product. So if you cannot bear a certain product, call it off. You do not have to go on to cheat on the customers. And then like they say, claim in their letter that a purported 800 people were abusing the data service, which is completely not true. So I will also like to tell them that the next time they are looking for lines of defense after they steal from customers, let them not come out with lies, because the thing is they call it unlimited and charge the customers whatever amount they want to charge. consumers went on to pay that amount. So they cannot also come and say they are going to restrict how consumers use that credit or that megabyte. So if they cannot give a service, let them not advertise it, and then let them also make sure that they are fair with the consumers. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From a kid, Mimfam honey fen to I'm getting it all is sol man, Muka honey fen to Aleja. I'll be need lap Yadualeja, Sejapurjam, Dulka be freedom of space the Bualeja, dual bela, do Bualbe Bua, Allah Bolan, Esti Gambian dream, Bricama Boyu, Dulcana, Cool.